So Arizona State and Fresno State in the Las Vegas Bowl. This is a bowl game that I think a lot of people aren't really talking about, but people really should be talking about this game. This is going to be a great one for sure. It's going to be on the opening day for bowl games, Saturday, December 15th at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time in Las Vegas. The spread currently has Arizona State winning at 4.5. Meanwhile, the FPI says 58% Fresno State wins. So this is kind of a rare occasion where the spread and the ESPN FPI do not agree with each other. It's kind of a unique thing that happened, because most of the time when you see the spread aiming towards one team, the FPI will almost always go towards that team as well. The records are Arizona State 7-5 and Fresno State 11-2. So Fresno State has had a great season compared to recent years. Meanwhile, Arizona State in the first year of the Herm Edwards era, they're doing pretty well for that. 7-5, and they've had some good quality wins as well. These stats are as of Thursday, December 6th. So of course those stats are going to change in the coming days. But now, looking at these two teams' schedules, Arizona State. So the 7-5 record, it doesn't look very good. But the thing is, though, when you look at these scores, lots and lots of close losses. Every one of these 5 losses is a close one. San Diego State, they could have beaten San Diego State easily, but they lost to them 20-21. I think he was under the pressure after beating Michigan State and getting a great win there and trying to follow it up. They just kind of fell under the pressure. Same thing against Washington when they had to go to Washington and they lost only 27-20. Look at that score. That really is not a bad score. The next week they beat up Oregon State, as they should have. And then Colorado. That is, I think, the worst loss, or probably the second to worst loss on this schedule. Of course, Colorado at the time, they were on fire. They were ranked 21st. And I thought Colorado actually could be a team that could make the Pac-12 championship game if they did really well in the second half of the season. But they lost to them 20-21. I think, looking at Colorado and how they finished out, I think that Arizona State should have won that game. If they would have won that game, that for sure would have given them a huge confidence boost. But then again, against Stanford, that's another rough loss. And then Oregon, of course. I mean, that Oregon loss is okay. Of course, at Oregon, it's always hard playing there. But the thing that really stands out to me is that Utah win. They beat up Utah 38-20. That is a win that I really consider, because Utah, by the way, is going to a pretty good bowl game. I forget what it was, but I know that they played Washington in the Pac-12 championship game, and they lost to them. Actually, I remember Utah's going to the Holiday Bowl. But yeah, looking at Arizona State, I mean, they started 3-4 in their first 7 games, but the last half of the season, very good. I'm really impressed with this Arizona State team. I think next year you could be expecting a 9-3 record from Arizona State. I think under Herm Edwards, I think they're really going to improve. So, of course, after Arizona State, here comes Fresno State. Fresno State is not in a Power 5 conference, so, of course, they're not going to be able to play very good opponents. They played two Power 5 opponents, my bad. They played at Minnesota. They lost to them. That is the one thing that I do not get. Minnesota's been a really rocky team this season. Of course, they beat Wisconsin in that very last week of the season. But Minnesota, other than that, they got blown out by Illinois. Minnesota is a team that they should have beaten. If they would have beaten Minnesota, that almost would have given me a great perspective, or even better perspective, on this Fresno State team. But other than that, looking pretty good. I mean, Boise State, that was a close loss. That's a pretty decent loss. The thing is that they came back to beat them 19-16 in overtime in the Pac-12 championship game. So the thing is, though, so this team, they avenged one of their 2 losses. So they were looking very good right now. I expect them to come into this game hot after their win over Boise State in the championship game. Of course, a few other good wins on this list that I can see. I mean, Hawaii's been an okay team this year. 50-20. That was a pretty good win for them. Of course, New Mexico 38-7. Looking at these, also, by the way, almost all of their games are held under 20 points for the opponent. Their defense is a very good one, it seems like. Meanwhile, their offense is putting up some pretty big numbers. I mean, Idaho 79-13. That is insane. So I think that Fresno State is going to put up a great fight with Arizona State. But here's what I think is going to happen. This is going to be a game, as I said before, this is going to be a game that not many people aren't really talking about because it just doesn't really seem like a 7-5 Arizona State team and a Fresno State team. I mean, Fresno State is very underrated in my opinion. But with that being said, I think Arizona State is going to win this game. It's going to be tied at halftime, very close the entire game. This is going to be one of the best bowl games this season. That's what I think about this game. Arizona State wins it in the final, 24-23. I think with that Arizona State team, all those close losses really are going to pay off in this game. So leave me your thoughts. I'm kind of interested to see what your guys' thoughts are. Of course, the Las Vegas Bowl on opening day for bowl games. The Las Vegas Bowl is always a good one. So leave me your thoughts in the comments below. I'd like to see what you guys all think. So some support only if you'd like to, and I will see you all later.